Last video, I said, even if I'm wrong about the sort of manipulative nature of morale that I'm hinting at, I thought at least that would be obvious. But rather than let it stay like that, let me back up that with this video here. And unlike morale, I can back up most of the claims I make. With that in mind, I'm going to be going over a couple of the behaviors of morale to sort of highlight how manipulative he is. Now, most people will pick up on the irony of this.
Shut the fuck up when I'm talking. So when you come into a discussion and you're like, you were spurging on Twitter, you're already muddying the waters. You're making the situation that you're going into already a negative one by diminishing what I'm saying.
Because
this was not spurging. You can call it spurging. I don't care if you think it's spurging. I don't care, whatever. This was discussions on Twitter with public figures. This was not like I had the same discussions in private when people contacted me. There was like, what are you talking about?
Is it hypocritical? No clue, but it's a great example of projection, since clearly he was doing a lot of bad faith things in this debate here. There are plenty of examples to pull from him trying to trigger people's insecurities. Is it him trying to be funny? Is it him trying to win an argument? Doesn't matter. Like, I don't understand this. Why is he trying to defend this stupid smear campaign that in the grand scheme of things, he shouldn't have even fucking did?
Do you think ZV should have banned that 12-year-old?
Yeah, I do think so.
Right, and do you think ZV probably should have banned the 12-year-old before he deafened him and started moaning in the voice call?
I mean, he probably should have banned him to start, but I mean, it doesn't make a difference if he was in the voice call or not. When
okay, so let me give you the same exact analogy that I gave everybody on a couple streams ago, right?
Okay.
What is the issue when you're in a public setting and you moan, but a minor cannot hear it because they're deaf or they're wearing earmuffs or whatever? What is the issue there?
What is the difference between
No. I need you to participate with what I'm saying. I need you to participate. So what is wrong in a public setting if you moan and the minor cannot hear it?
There's a difference between a public setting and a Discord call.
Okay, so I need you to participate with what I'm saying, CB2, right? So Discord doesn't exist in this hypothetical. The internet does not exist in this hypothetical. This is the 1800s, okay? None of this exists. You can't bring that up, right?
This is a more blatant example of morale trying to change the rules again. Now, why I consider this lying, I'm sure morale wouldn't, because this is in his crazy hypothetical where ZV is an adult.
Now, during the whole call, I was a minor when that happened.
Also, him characterizing what ZV was doing in that VC as moaning.
What Mrow took issue with, for some reason, he claimed I was moaning in front of a minor when that is, yet again, blatantly untrue. Firstly, I'd just like to make it clear, I was a minor when all of this went down. A minor. Mrow is in his early 20s.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even. I don't even think you like moaning was the big point of it. You were whispering. So yeah. I don't know where the moaning thing came from, but it was whispering to morale. Key aspect of that is that there is a screen in between these two people.
Right, so screens don't exist. So you have to participate with what I'm saying. So I'm going to repeat myself again. I'm going to repeat myself again because you're not participating with what I'm saying.
Adult
so what is the issue,
minor?
right? We have person A and person B. Person B is a minor. Person A is an adult. Person B, the minor, cannot hear. They are deaf. They cannot hear anything. Person A moans in a public setting in proximity of that minor, right? Something bad is going on there. Something wrong is going on there, right? I think we can all agree that something wrong and evil and bad is going on there. I need you to explain to me what the bad thing going on is. Can you?
So let me get this clear. The hypothetical situation is we are in the 1800s. It's a public area, and someone moaned in an area.
To be clear, I had to do these weird workarounds because you kept bringing up Discord just like they did, right?
No,
this is disconnected from all of you.
Okay, there's a
changing the rules with a little bit of passive aggressive nature here. So morale seems like he wants control here. Otherwise, he won't engage with anything being said. In his hypothetical, completely devoid of the actual context which is being discussed here. And when CB2 attempts to make sure he's understanding morale's hypothetical, morale doesn't even let him finish.
Changes the entire situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to participate with what I'm saying or no?
I'm not going to participate with the idea that it's the 1800s.
Okay, so since you're a fucking retard, I'll explain it for you, right? Okay. The issue with a situation like that going down is the fact that an adult is willingly going into a situation with a minor present and acting sexually.
But they
that is the issue.
removed
That is what is
okay.
bad that is going on, right? It doesn't matter that the minor's not a victim, right? It doesn't matter that the minor isn't victimized or nothing bad happened to the minor. What matters is the adult did something weird in the presence of a minor, right?
According to CV's video, Mrow, the adult, was trying to claim that all his lies were just jokes. And just be clear, some of his insane argument and bad faith tactics I find to be jokes. So I'm going to be using that word interchangeably with much of the mental gymnastics that Mrow pulls off. This is not the only example of Mrow trying to use humor, I guess.
Well, dude, it's this whole thing of you acting as if you're trolling too. That was obviously bullshit, right?
No, yeah, I mean, I
like you've like bullshitted, like you've like bullshit on like multiple different fronts. So it's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying right now, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think I buy any of it, and I think there's good reason to not buy it.
Mrow likes to use something around "it was just a joke" or troll as a defense for a lot of things that he stupidly does. Or maybe sometimes one of the useful idiots who somehow still hangs around him and defends his actions does that for him.
I mean, the joke is still there, right? It's like a real joke.
But that's not a joke. But he presented it in the VC like it was real allegation.
Dude.
There seems like this triangulation thing here. You know, you bring another person in to sort of help you out. I see this being done a lot. It's not a perfect fit. I mean, it's not really pulling in a third party to pursue you to do something. Amos here came in beforehand. Mrow came in afterwards.
People have been asking me to bring Domino in, so Domino's here.
Hi guys.
Oh, great.
Can I request a guy?
What
Can we get
what
Gamma
a
on?
pathetic debate. Why is it always a 2v1 with
Dude,
these
you're such a
people?
contrarian. It's like pathetic. You like
Amos,
literally
Amos,
anyone
get
watching
CB
this,
to add
you know,
Gamma.
it's
Let's
like-
get Gamma on.
And I don't know why they thought this would turn out well at all. But it does seem like this is almost adapted for the commentary space that they're in. So it isn't so obvious. I've seen this also done in a couple of different VCs. Sometimes at a massive level, like with Leo Convoy. Just to name drop one person who does this sort of crap in the VCs all the time and almost seems to drill the people under him to learn how to do this with people.
Mrow implies when he asks anyone to participate in a debate with him.
I feel like these guys might not have a lot of good points, maybe.
Like
Oh, there he is.
Noise. Yeah.
What you're seeing right now is 8 people in a single call. Mrow, his 6 other friends, and a single lone person that agreed to debate with Mrow, not anyone else. And before they've even dropped a word, look at how they treat him.
All right. Clue Glover, what's up? Hey, bud, what's up?
He's 12 years old.
I think you confused him. You told him to go in the waiting room.
Hey.
Speak up, little buddy.
You okay?
Come on, we don't bite.
I think he's having a stroke.
You okay? You okay, little guy?
Getting back into it, this seems to be mostly done when Mrow makes some of his more mask-off, insane arguments.
You a question. I have to make up another fucking crazy hypothetical to get you to fucking answer because you don't know how discussions work,
Crazy
right?
hypotheticals
So this
aren't part
question,
of the
hold on,
discussion.
CB2, because you're a fucking retard. Jesus Christ. So this question that I'm about to ask you, right? It takes place in space on fucking Mars, and it's completely disconnected, 1,000 years in the future, right? Nobody here is alive. There's nothing going on, right? Whatever. Fucking Jesus Christ. To get you to answer one question.
That tend to fall flat on their asses. All of this seems so funny to me because of how blatantly Mrow uses the Motte and Bailey fallacy in his discussion with CB2. The controversial and harder to defend one, the Bailey.
Dude, do you think if you go into a Discord server with thousands of people, you have to individually verify each age of everyone in the voice call before you say something even mildly
difference
sexual?
is this is someone who
No, answer the question.
interacted-
So hold on.
Okay, we're not
When I
doing
ask
this
you,
shit
so
again.
listen, CB2. When I ask a question, I need you to answer it because that's how discussions work.
The modest and easy to defend one, the Motte.
The only thing I was upset about in this situation with Chris Tyson was that everybody else wasn't also getting shit, right?
Which we agreed with you early on in the argument, by the way, that these other people should be getting shit.
Even then, Mrow can't be happy with that. That is why I'm using an article to support my educated opinion here, since, my associate's degree in psychology is probably collecting dust wherever I stored it away at, but it does give me enough reference to actually believe all the points that it comes up with. Now, why the term gaslighting is overused, it has some legitimate sort of merit behind it. And if I really can't call the many examples in this encounter, probably a couple other, with Mrow, gaslighting, I really don't know what would count. Like, how is this not denying or minimizing what Chris Tyson was accused of?
Arguably in defense of Chris Tyson, where he said this.
How is that a defense of Chris Tyson?
Okay, because you're saying if you're trying to claim you haven't said shit like this in a public voice call, or people close to you haven't, you're blatantly lying. You're not saying Chris like directly, but you're saying this in defense of him, saying that this shouldn't be.
This is not in defense of Chris.
What is
Then
it?
who's it in defense of?
What is the point in saying that then? What was
Because
the
I
point
think it's
you were trying
retarded to bring this up, because this is like a nothing burger thing.
So why isn't
This is a
Quickie
public server
nothing
with
burger
presumably like thousands of people in it, right? There's no way
That
you can
other
verify
server was
everybody's
also-
age in it,
okay.
right?
That other
and
server
and
was
hold on.
also
You made this comparison that I'm a hypocrite because of this with ZV, right? ZV knew the age of Bucky.
Yeah, and
Everybody knows the age of Bucky. He's a very public 12-year-old.
And do I even need to prove the passive-aggressive claim from Mrow? Under my own personal definition and the definition of this article, which I'm going to be using here, just so everyone knows what I mean when I say Mrow definitely meets the criteria of passive aggressive here, expressing anger indirectly. And I think this example of Mrow moving the goalposts back to CB2's comparison is a good example of that. Probably mainly because it's clear Mrow wasn't going to win with this particular set of tactics he was currently using. Not that the switch up in tactics worked much better for him. There's also another good reason I'm using this article in this video. Most arguments are over the definition of words. There's sort of a dispute about the term harassment within this discussion, debate, whatever semantic term you want to use for it. I'm not going to go over it, but if they had a definition, they could go over it and see if it matches what we know about that word, which I don't care about doing here. And if you want to argue against a psychological article that seems like a rather simple guide to spot manipulation tactics because of your own personal definition would come in conflict with these terms, I think you might be a bit damaged in your head. As I said in my last video, love bombing was more of a Mama Max thing. Maybe Mrow does it somewhere. I haven't seen any case of it, but you don't need to check every box on this rough list for someone like Mrow to qualify for meeting the criteria of a manipulator of some type. Maybe it's just in commentary spaces where he's like this, and when he's out touching grass, he is a normal dude. I don't know him personally. I'm sure if Mrow tried to respond to this video, doubtful as all hell, but if he did, he'll probably take a look at this list and say, see, I don't do this. Also, I'm not sure if I have to prove that Mrow lies. Generally, these seem like stupid little white lies that just stack up. And Mrow seems to try to argue his way out of it with some PDF file level debate bro like shit. I don't know if he gets a kick out of it or if he's just that stupid that he thinks he can get away with it. Like Bosch and his short stack goblin sort of fucking argument. But I can say it is common for him to both omit parts of the truth and make up false info. But don't try to call him out on that. He'll tell you, yeah, you have to find it right here. Oh, I was just asking a question over and over and over and over again. I don't know if he knows this, but he's taken advantage of the sort of illusionary truth effect here, along with people's negativity bias. You ask it enough, people will just remember the big claim with the negative context to it, and a lot of people will forget that it was just a repeated question over and over and over again. A pattern of behavior that seems common for Mrow. Now, just because Mrow Mrow can convince certain people that his argument was something different than what almost everyone else seems to think he was arguing on a certain contentious topic like lolly, just because you can reframe it in a private discussion, VC, doesn't mean much to people with much higher standards and critical thinking skills than someone like Amos.
Defending Lolicon throughout that whole situation, which is objectively wrong.
I don't think he was
levels.
defending Lolicon. I think you're like misrepresenting what he was trying to say. He was trying to like do a hypocrisy argument.
Broski, you were against him while he was making this argument. Why is the
I was, and then I talked to him privately and understood where he came from.
Do you
remember me saying that in the GC after I talked to him? Or?
I do remember you going and talking to him. I don't understand how you could still stand by it after the fact.
It is also hard to make the argument Mrow purposely isolated Himpleton on purpose or alone. Seemed to be a point of confusion in my last video. Thought I would clarify here. Mrow might not care about that particular context and go off of what people interpreted it as. Let's hope not, because that would be incredibly bad faith. But what I can say Mrow does like to do is isolate certain elements in his criticism, like he did with Opla, or however you say that interesting name. Opa Block?
Attributing the screenshot of the wall of text with rape. That's what I stopped watching at that point because I was like, this is retarded.
Yeah, what I would suggest is that you should watch the rest of it, because there's instances where a 13-year-old literally says, I'm 13, and somebody going into that in the same public forum saying, I'm 13, I'm mentally 13, but I'm physically 25. Is that okay with you? Like,
I don't think that necessarily invalidates like this being kind of a retarded point, right?
I'm not going to argue that with you, because I think that that's stupid if you're not going to watch the whole video, if I'm going to be real. Because I literally am sitting there with a wall of text and him talking about how he's wants to create a safe space.
Do you think a wall of text saying rape is like equivalent to a grooming
if you're not
tactic?
going to watch, if you're not going to watch the whole interview, I don't know what to tell you. You're saying to me that you don't want to watch the whole interview. If you also heard the fact that he wants to create a safe space, because part of that as well was saying he wants adults who are attracted to minors.
Okay, I'll watch the whole interview, but I'm just asking you very simply, do you think a wall of text saying rape in a server with minors is equivalent to a grooming tactic?
I want to call it cherry picking, but Mrow might not be smart enough to even realize he's doing this or not have the attention span. Also, the fact I saw Mrow pop up on Flatly streams twice, might have been on more, but one of them was to try to convince Burn the World that he shouldn't be friends with Himpleton because Himpleton's a snake. He might be right on that point, but that still seems like something this Burn character should decide for himself. The other time is when Himpleton was dumb enough to believe that he could just pop up on a chill stream and that Mrow wouldn't be there to try to convince him of how much of a horrible human being he is.
So the MrSen debate, you didn't want to go on to debate him on anything other than the fact that he said that you lied about rape. So this seems like something you're extraordinarily insecure about, to the point where you'd rather debate the validity of you being raped, which you don't have any proof on, versus the validity of someone engaging in some form of lolly roleplay, which you supposedly did have proof of.
You gotta love the sneaky line of supposedly did have proof of. Mrow must have his head stuck in the sand or up his own ass. I can find the proof of MrSen doing that crap very easily with one quick search on YouTube. Even some videos of him trying to explain away his lolly roleplay. That's summed up in the meme on the franchises video.
So the first one doesn't look like lolly, and the reason for that is because of the stupid fucking cat ears. Dude.
Oh my god. It doesn't look like lolly because of the cat ears.
This helps support the isolation theory of mine, at least to a certain extent. And at the very least, it seems like an attempt to take charge of the very few connections Himpleton still might have after its disastrous crash out from the commentary scene. As the result of his meltdown, a lot of commentary just laughed it off. Now, was Mrow doing this for content? It doesn't matter, because the attempt to do something, no matter the reasons, doesn't make you any less guilty of doing the thing that seems pretty clear here. Talking about guilt tripping does seem to happen a lot. Sure, you could try to argue what morale does isn't guilt tripping. Now, to anyone who would try to make that argument, I would say, so are you saying morale doesn't try to get people to feel guilty? If they tried to deny it, I would just be like, look at this.
Absolutely no evidence to suggest I harassed a minor. And for you to even entertain that idea without even asking for a smidge of fucking evidence is so beyond fucking insane. You understand that, right?
There could be a lot more to this, but so much happens behind the scenes, it's hard to know if more of that happened unless someone leaks some DM or call at some particular point in the future, which could happen. The same is true for the emotional blackmail part here. Hefty claim? Maybe it's true. I have no evidence of it, but I'll let morale off on that because it's just so hard to really argue. And I really don't want to bother with that, but I will go with morale being a person who likes to change the rules. Hell, the cat boy even likes to change the definition of words sometimes to try to gaslight or attempted gaslighting of certain people.
Ask a question, I need you to answer it because that's how discussions work.
When you're talking over me, though, that's not a discussion,
Yes,
though.
yes,
You're
because
you're
you're not,
talking
you have
over
not
me,
answered
and
any
then-
question.
I don't know why he thinks anyone would fall for this shit. Anyone who wants to say, oh, that was just him trolling or joking, don't make me revisit the point about triggering your insecurities. I put that in the beginning because that is a defense that morale likes to use a lot for behaviors he does over and over and over again that only an idiot would actually reiterate for his defense. Now, I'm willing to defend most statements I put in my videos. Even some of my jokes, I could argue, make sense if you had the proper context for that. But you know what? If someone took this video, omitted parts, or just did a retelling of it, making up false things that I supposedly claimed, or completely a dumbass who has no clue what I was trying to argue with, or sort of change the rules of commentary like they're the captains or dictators of what commentary or video should be, or try to emotionally guilt trip me, talk badly behind my back, the smearing campaign, which probably has been done several times before. Insults, done it. Deny or minimize, or generally insults. Gotta love those. Absolutely don't care. Have fun. Insult me all you want. That doesn't diminish anything I have to say. And try to deny or minimize anything, I really won't care. I'll laugh it off and probably challenge you. As I said, done this before, and even stupider situations over stupider things. So if you or anyone in commentary or morale's orbit has a criticism of this video, let me know. Unlike morale, I don't have to explain things in private with my so-called friends, so they'll sweep for me in the public. With all that said, I'm done.